All right, so last time we took a flight over down to, man, I want to say Peru. Now I'm second guessing myself.
That's what I remember as well.
Okay.
I also remember Peru.
Yeah. Oh man, it's been a couple weeks. We took a meander down to Peru to request of Dr. Leroux to go back to where the ruins where Montre was found in order to maybe find another body to stab the dagger in that contains a soul at the moment to see what soul is inside. In the midst of doing that, we find out that the doctor, I have his name here, Ignacio Cueva, who is also known as Effie's enemy, was also there looking for probably the same thing. Not exactly, but something of the sort. Who knows?
Same thing for different reasons.
Yeah, where he has indeed openly admitted that he is a glory stealer. But of course, if you're rich and famous, it's not exactly unheard of. In the midst of that, the Sean Dublin was able to convince the Dr. Cueva to take the plane ride with our lovely pilot, Carl, who is meant to do a interference run. So that way there's no, how AP put it, a Dr. Jones moment. Which
is an accurate statement, I believe.
In the midst where Dr. Leroux is taking the charge to lead everybody to the ruins that he found on a map, but in the midst he got lost because he forgot the way and he's not great at navigation. It is also fairly hot, humid, and mostly everybody is sweaty, probably. Except for Montre. He doesn't have that to do.
Oh no. Oh, sad for them. Oh no. Internal combustion. How much that must suck for your life forms. Oh wait. I can't enjoy the food.
I'm probably pretty comfortable too.
Probably. I mean, you could just open a window and you get a nice, good breeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great idea.
A little suction.
I mean, it's not exactly like a fully. It'll be fine. It's the 30s. It won't,
count to five. Count to five. Just count to five.
It's the 30s. It won't crash the plane to open a window.
But yes, after the 2 hours, the team finally arrives at the site of what little remains of what was an Incan, ruin site, where at most the height of the walls that are left are about waist height, with most of the stone being covered by vegetation. At first, nothing really screams entrance to an ancient tomb, until eventually Dr. Leroux meanders over to a wall into the hillside. The only thing that sticks out as far as that goes is there is some eroded carvings of what could be the head of a feline. Not sure exactly what, but that line across the wall in relatively even manner. The doctor goes up to a few of them, murmuring to himself as he messes with the jaw of them. After testing a few of the carvings, one loosens and comes open, revealing a hole. Aha! It's been a while, but I knew I'd find the right one. Now, all I need to do is unlock the door. The doctor sticks his arm through the hole that has appeared from the drop jaw. After a few moments, the doctor screams out in pain before switching to laughter, feigning that his arm was snatched.
So everything is all right then?
Yes, of course. What, you thought I was going to snap?
I am simply pleased you are unharmed.
After a moment, a door starts to open, revealing a dark hallway that has detailed carved stone, just not detailed carved stone, but well carved stone, still seems pristine as the day it was made, with gold inlay about halfway up the wall that leads inward to the whatever is inside. Now, is everybody ready?
I don't believe there's any more issues. Anyone else?
Montre just shoulders whatever pack he's carrying. It's like,
It's been a while, but it's me, Sean Dublin here.
Oh yes,
I just wanted to Irishly talk to all of my companions in the most Irish way possible. Could you excuse us for just one moment?
Sure.
Okay, team huddle, guys.
Yes, what is the matter?
All right, friends, let's just be real here. I'm not clear as to how much our traveling companion guide knows about let's call it the magical science that powers our robot friend here, and B, the magic that Effie can do. But I want to make it clear, Montre, I'm not aware. Do you still speak your ancient language and can communicate with this being?
I don't know what's on the dagger. If it's not something from my time, then no, I would not. I don't speak anything but English.
That is a point that I did not even consider, that The person on the dagger
was Roman, so it would assumedly be a different. You weren't Roman, correct?
No, our people were, and he rattles off like whatever the name of Mesopotamian people called themselves.
All right. Well, the great news is that I actually speak Latin. But
Sumerian. There we go. That's what I meant to say. Sumerian.
here is the plan. For one thing, I'm going to remain outside to cover our escape and to make sure that we know if anyone is coming up behind us. Just my typical, it's what I do every time. For all of you, I think that Effie may need to put on a display of magical power in order to cow whatever being we bring back out of the knife, and Harlen may need to distract our professorial doctor friend. The good professor doctor, not the bad one who's in the plane.
All right.
That's all I have.
I'm
That's
sure
my
we
whole
can
plan.
find something else in there to keep him occupied.
All right. Did I show anyone my new firearm, this prototype M1 Garand? It's terrible, actually. The Garand will be terrible for the next few years until they get all of the dumb shit worked out of it. I'm going to go climb up a nearby tree and sort of make a nest for myself so I can see anyone approaching from above.
Okay, so we're saying that it's an M1 Grand, not a Lee Enfield.
Yes, I'm changing. Well, listen. The Lee Enfield is on the plane. I'm carrying an M1 Garand.
Okay, okay.
There's still a lot of pinging noises. All right.
I mean, realistically, it doesn't matter as stat wise. I mean, you have like a couple less bullets than typical, but if you make it to the point where you use up 8 rounds, I think you're in more trouble than that.
I'm often in a lot of trouble, Pondo.
It's fair. All right, so you're gonna stay out in the dangerous jungle.
That's how I normally do it.
Okay. Need to make a note here that you got a M1 Grand with 8 shots out of 8. I'll have to remember to fix that later. All right.
We'll fix it in post.
That's fine. I just fixed up the sheet now. I just need to remember to change it back later. That way, if he uses a Lee Enfield, it'll be Lee Enfield stuff. All that matters is the amount of shots. Away from technical. Okay. So as Dr. LaRue was awkwardly waiting to figure out why he's outside the huddle. He thought he was part of this team, but I guess he's not. Are you all done? Are we?
Yep.
Yes, I believe we're prepared now.
Okay. Why is Mr. Dublin walking away?
Mr. Dublin doesn't like tombs, and he's very safety conscious, so he's going to make sure no one sneaks up, just in case someone would. Or creatures, because sometimes, in fact,
His abilities are better suited out here. He thinks we'll be fine.
Of course. Hopefully the Jaguars don't get to him.
I'd be more worried about the Jaguars of him getting, but yes, hopefully not. He's quite a good shot.
Historically, I don't know that that's true.
That's what he told me, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, historically, that may be true for sure.
I think you have hit 100% of the shots you made, so.
At least the ones I've seen.
Now, granted, I think it's only been like 3 or 4 shots.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that's true, it's only because I only take really, really easy shots.
Yes.
So 100% in front of me is 100% of shots.
So, technically, Montre is correct. Realistically, it remains to be seen.
I have faith.
But Dr. Lou will release him wholeheartedly. You will now entrust him to make the best shots that he needs to be made to Dublin. Okay. Who wants to go first?
Montre tilts his head. Well, shouldn't I?
Montre, would you take the lead?
He'll pull his big gun off his back to just hold on to it in his hands just in case, and nod his head and start walking.
Excellent. He'll be falling directly behind. He does essentially take out a torch to light it up, so that way the people who can't see can see.
That does help.
This is now split this group into three different ways. We'll go
I think we can shoot for 4.
maybe. We'll see.
Just tell me what special tile that's definitely not a trap to step on to split us up more. Just point it out.
the pit to drop you somewhere else.
Just glad I got my face with an X on it. Like, I think that's safe. That's safe.
It's about maybe 10 minutes into the walk down this hallway, you finally make it to this. The best way to describe it is like a throne room, even though it's really just a basic room that has a chair, a very well crafted and very poignant chair, like in the middle of the room, nothing else. This is like the center of attention. Montre remembers this is the chair that he was awake, that he was in when he woke up. At the moment, there doesn't really seem to be much else. So the doctor is like, so this is where I found Montre. I don't know how I woke him up from his stasis, but I did something. I was touching the chair, and then he woke up, strangled me a little bit. It's just, those wake up jitters, I suppose.
I did apologize when I could finally talk to you.
You did. It was terrifying, but it was also fascinating. It was very conflicting feeling. Now, Montre,
Yes.
do you recall any possible way that you could open up what might be beyond this?
Not at first glance, but give me a moment. He'll
Okay.
swing his gun again and start
Give me a
not poking, but literally just walking to the walls and just kind of like looking them over.
Considering how he's angry, Harlen will go to help him because it doesn't seem like he knows it by heart.
yes, that of course. The should have known. The more direct approach would have been what he took. Okay. Can someone help me check this chair? The doctor's going to go check the chair. Montre, you can either do a notice or you could do a common knowledge.
One's a 4 and one's an 8, so we're gonna go with the 8. Notice.
Okay.
I know one's a 6. Still better than a 4. Much better.
Or you could just crush it.
It's a lot harder to get
So
two
as-
6s on a 4.
As you're literally trying to walk through the wall, you begin to realize, yeah, this is not how you do it. Maybe the chair was the way. As you look back to the chair, you start getting these kind of flashbacks to when you were put down. The faces that were essentially giving you your final post, saying that you were to remain here and to protect this tomb until we get back. Never came back, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Either never came back or didn't make it all the way to the chair.
You do see the spot where you can kind of, for lack of a better term, jack into the chair to activate its systems. The spot where you could do to manipulate the door to be open, to open the rest of it.
So yeah, he'll be like, please, Professor, I believe I
Yes.
remember what I was supposed to not do in case of people came in.
Supposed to not do. Oh, intriguing. What? Care to explain?
Yes, and he'll walk over the chair. I was supposed to keep people out of here until those who assigned me the task returned, which obviously did not happen. I'll
Of course.
start to sit down to start doing the pushing and the buttons. I'm supposed to keep this closed because, and it's like they didn't say why, they just said to do it.
Yeah. So when you sit back into the chair, you could feel, well, essentially your soul kind of link to it. As it links to it, the gold inlays of the chair actually start glowing, this green glow. Essentially, no one else can see it, but in your mind, you can see essentially the controls of it. Open door, activate lights, etc., though they are only linked to your immediate area, not within.
So yeah, he'll open the door and turn on whatever lights it can.
After Montre links up and is there for a little bit, kind of just sitting there motionless, the green inlays that are in the hallway and then the room start to glow the same glow as the chair. As after that, the door part of the wall starts essentially sliding down, opening another entrance essentially. The doctor literally is in astonishment. It's like, oh, this is. If I only knew, I would have stayed here a little longer, but I was afraid that I would die.
It was a good call, Doctor. It was a lot easier to learn when you were comfortable.
Of course.
He kind of stands up. He's like, and honestly, I did not remember that until right now, so I may not have ever remembered it.
That's fair.
without some other
You were focused on
information.
trying to kill me, so it's.
Well, apparently I was ordered to never let anyone into the building, so you were in the building, so
Fascinating.
kind of failed. But I work for you now, and I work for my friends.
Excellent.
We're friends.
Yes, you count.
Now, let's keep moving. This is so exciting. He starts,
Hey,
gleefully starts.
Professor,
Yes.
there was limitations. There is more beyond where I can open, so please use extreme caution. I don't know if they put traps.
How exciting. There's like a big internal conflict of
I wanna
wants
run
to
down the
go
stairs.
further, but is also doesn't want to accidentally die. Well,
There another one of you in charge of more further inside?
I do not remember such. I just remember being told to guard the gate, so to speak. I'm really enjoying the so to speak statement. It is a fun way to talk.
well, I guess Montre, you should keep going.
He nods, unslings his gun again, just in case. He kind of wants to use his gun at this point. He's like, it's loud and fun.
Should we have brought ear protection for that?
Yes, you should have. I apologize for not thinking about it.
Oh dear. Okay.
I shall have to get my own to give out.
Right. You do not care about your eardrums.
I don't remember what it felt like to hear, sir. Ironic statement. And he starts walking down the steps.
So steps go down for about, I would say about maybe 3 or 4 stories. So about 30, 40 feet down before it goes down to a hallway where it kind of splits off, going left and or right.
Kind of looks. He's like, I have no idea where to go from here, Professor.
No more memories, flashbacks.
Nothing's jogging it so far. It's a pretty nondescript hallway, other than it's very old like me.
Do you want to try to remember, or you just want to just pick a hallway and go down?
I'll roll common large smarts on this one. I think that's more thematic. And I'll get it, apparently. Okay.
Okay, all right. So
I'm trying to hamstring myself to make us not follow me everywhere, and I still like, oh yeah, it's over there.
okay, so this splits off 2 ways. One way is, you remember, is a small armory section. The other way is, I want to say barracks, but it's more of a resting chamber.
So I'll point out
Dorms.
Yes.
Sort of that. It's like, I believe what would be called now a armory. I believe we call it now, but weapon storage was that way. And
Would you
bedroom?
have been considered a weapon or a personnel?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That
I
is
would
a
assume
very good question.
Yes.
Is he technically a weapon, or is the common sense of weapon a weapon?
She just goes silent.
Which way does everybody want to go?
The armory seems best if we encounter anything dangerous here. It would be better to have an idea of what we might be up against.
Excellent. He starts just kind of not bolting down, but heading down that direction in an excited pace.
He just shuffles. It just shuffle to catch up. Like whoa. Safety, sir. Safety.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. The hallway goes down for about 20, 30 feet before it goes to a room that's, despite everything else seeming relatively untouched over the years, a lot of these weapons that look incredibly alien, so to speak. So essentially, the best you can describe some of these things are kind of like your common silhouettes of firearms, where you can tell which one was probably a rifle, which one's probably a pistol. Some maybe not so much, but a lot of these seem to have deteriorated on their own. There is a couple of what looks to be like a rifle that's still good and pistols that are still good. And then there's a couple other things that are more, that seem like they would be out of place, like spears, swords, knives, stuff like that, but are still in like the style or aesthetic as the guns, essentially. Everything is what looks to be the same gray and the gold inlay as like the walls. There's these glass looking orbs that are at certain points either like back there where the hand will go for the gun, like over top of it, or for like the spears and swords, they're a little bit closer to either the hilt of the blade or kind of towards the right before you get to the tip of the spear. But some of them seem to have like deteriorated almost as if not being used is degraded them. Who wants to touch the unknown weapons first?
Montres are like, well, they didn't consider me a weapon enough to store extra me down here, at least. And I don't remember how many of these were organic based, or in a colloquial term, therefore equivalent to that statement.
You mean made to work for you, or made to work for everybody, or just
I mean,
us
literally,
meatbags?
literally a life form. The priests were literally, I believe I saw the term, going crazy to fight our war, and some of these weapons probably only exist here.
Interesting.
And no guarantee they were safe then, for a question of
For the
safety.
wielder, you mean?
I mean, they were harvesting warrior souls after we died and made things like me. I don't think that was a transient property you could imply, other than the priesthood. They were kind of the guys running things. It was a weird war, and I don't even remember it properly.
So is everybody just staring at these weapons, not touching them?
Currently, yes. After that explanation.
All right, because that explanation made Dr. Lou go ahead and he will touch a pistol. at first it seems like there's no real, it doesn't do anything. He's just kind of holding it. I was like, well, this is odd. I figured something would happen. And he starts like trying to click the trigger of the pistol due to not having any sort of
Fletcher's literally trying to stay between him and anyone else, just in case. It's like, please don't shoot anyone else. I don't know what that will do.
We'll see if he. Where did I put his sheet? Hold on 1 second. There he is.
Vigor roll.
Okay.
He's sucked inside the gun. Uh-oh.
Did that do a -2? Or did it only give him -1? Because the bad eyes don't really affect anything. I thought it rolled a 3, but I guess it was a 2. That doesn't matter. Failure either way. Boy, okay. So as he's pulling the trigger, suddenly the same green energy that coalesced into the inlays, pretty much everything you've seen so far, start moving from essentially his heart, so to speak, down his arm where he has the gun into the gun, filling up the round sphere. And then suddenly it fires, and Dr. Liu drops it and kind of clenches at his heart a little bit. Oh, goodness. Oh, that was exciting.
You okay, Doctor?
Yes. Oddly a pain that feels mental or non-physical, but also physical. I don't. Oh, that's a fascinating presence. Oh, okay.
Yeah, perhaps you should not do that again, sir, and he'll help him off back on his feet.
It's like the best I can describe it is the pain you get when you drink too much coffee and your heart pounds faster than you expect, but that wasn't actually happening.
Those sound pleasant. Perhaps we should just get these items back somewhere safe and study them, try to use them.
Perhaps let's pack them for safety. For yours especially, Doctor, if that's what happened with the small pistol. I hate to see what the large devices might do to someone just to use them.
Excellent. The other thing you noticed that after the energy went back into, the energy went back into the pistol, the whatever degradation the pistol had suddenly disappeared and just pretty much looks good as new now.
Even better.
Is there another pistol, by the way?
Yeah, there's like 2 pistols, a couple rifles.
Oh, and we'll take one for now at least.
I'll get that. Well, that won't cause problems in the future. Yeah, a couple of things look like that they're essentially degraded so much that it'd be hard to say if they would work or not. You take anything else besides the guns? Any of the swords or spears?
I think Montre had grabbed one of the swords just to have one.
Are you touching it with like your essentially bare hand or putting something between?
He's always got gloves on because he doesn't want to freak people out. So he's still got his gloves on for now.
Right.
But if you want, he can touch bare hand. I'm fine.
That's fine. Those just laid gloves. I'm trying to think of if this is going to do the thing it's going to do. Yeah.
I mean, technically, he doesn't truly have bare hands anymore. So
right. So I will say, when you go to touch a spear, that's what you said. Did you say a spear or sword?
Sword.
When you go touch a sword. So instead of that delay that the doctor had, where the energy went into, yours kind of just goes directly into it and essentially powers it up. You can feel it in your soul that it did. I'd say at this point, that's when you remember, yeah, these use soul as a ammunition or energy source. And essentially, the more you use it, it takes bits and bits of your soul.
It degrades you.
Yeah.
He'll slide the sword onto his back as best he can. As he's like, that's not good.
But you do know they do pretty good damage. They mess some things up.
And yeah, he'll turn back around a few seconds later and be like, well, I have good news.
And
the weapons do a lot of damage based on their size. However, they're based on the same technology they used to create me. They somehow interact with your soul. So,
somehow
Professor...
interact?
Yes, Professor. You have given some of your soul to that pistol that you picked up. Please do not pick up another weapon.
Exciting.
I don't know. I don't truly remember how that works, but I do know that it feels like the chair to me when I picked up the sword. Pain is not relevant to me at this point, so I did not get the same physical sensation you did, but sensation is still there, and it's not a pleasant one if you're not expecting it. So
exciting. I'll have to tinker with those later.
Yes, I would hope we find something to find out whether or not you've hurt yourself more permanently, sir. He's trying not to call him out, but he's also like, Kai, you're kind of important to me. Don't kill yourself in the tomb.
Which is the opposite look of his face, where he's not concerned about that at all.
He's like, well, discoveries, and he's like, he's gonna kill himself.
It probably is.
I don't have a spare dagger to put him in.
You're working on that.
I'm trying.
All right, so I guess if you guys would like, you can go the other way, or you can just bail out now. I don't know. I don't know what you guys want to do.
Yeah.
I might as well go the other way just to see
Keep
if
going.
there's...
Yeah, we still haven't even found what we're looking for.
Yeah, we haven't found what we want, but we found lots of stuff to keep him busy. So there's a bunch of people without souls in town. It's gonna be a problem.
Essentially. Yeah, so you make it down the other to the other end of the hallway that you're in, and it's again about the same distance it was before, about 20, 30 feet down a hallway after you got back to the fork in the road, essentially. You make it into this larger room where the best I can describe it as these bunks that are indented in the wall, where there's other suits, I would say, like Montre, just kind of laying there waiting, maybe in stasis, though they're not as pristine as what Montre is. They definitely have the same kind of degradation as the weapons that you found, as some of the weapons you found.
I'll take Montre, look at the others. I believe we have located what we were here for.
Well, so how do we determine if they're empty?
That is a excellent question. I guess let's find the ones that seem to be the least degraded, and then I guess plunge a knife, see what happens. Anyone got any other better ideas?
Montre looks at everyone else like, I don't know, man.
One thing you do notice that the suits vary in essentially body type. The most common are the ones like Montre is, though perhaps a little bit smaller. Then there's one that is significantly smaller, more slender, perhaps more agile. And then ones that seem like your big brutes. If there was muscle there, they'd be huge, like strongman muscle.
Tanks.
Yeah.
He does look around him. He's like, I would not suggest the big ones, though, just in case the, I believe you called them Roman possible souls came out really pissed off, like I did.
Yeah. Should we drag one of them down then? Montre, you want to help?
Of course. And he'll take his pack off and help pick, whichever one they pick, any money, however they do it, he'll help them.
Go ahead and give me notice rolls to see if you can find, and the good doctor will give one too, just in case. Oh, okay. So a 4 from Harlen, or was that Montre?
That was Montre.
That was Montre. Well, the bad eye shouldn't be in effect because he has glasses on at the moment. He's still a failure either way. Harlen got a 5. Okay. So you're able to find a regular suit that seems to be in decent condition and let's say a slender one.
He lays him down on the floor. He kind of looks up and is like, are we certain we want to do this?
What we came here for?
Nods.
Okay. So as the doctor takes out the knife and goes over to the more slender looking one, you start hear some creaking and cracking come from a couple of the other suits, though they start glowing that green, but it's very faint as it flickers, and it's a very not lumbering, but I can't think of a word to describe best ways. Essentially zombie-like, where it seems like internally they're just being held together by
pure will.
Pure will, though that will is steadily fainting.
I think he wants to quickly shout in Sumerian that they're to stand down. They're here to be rescued.
Give me a persuasion.
I think that would be without my hindrance outsider in this case, right?
I would say so.
That's good because it's really bad. I'm not great in the first
That's
place.
fine.
The
You just need
outsider
to
makes it really bad.
hit a 4 a couple times, you'd be fine.
I won't.
Nope. So hearing you, they stop for a moment as they kind of recognize it, but they can't quite comprehend what you're asking them to do.
Too degraded.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
What would you two like to do?
I think Montre turns to whoever's in that particular spot with him, and they can't understand. They're too degraded. They're guardians. They will not let us do this without a fight.
I see. So they are in there.
If you wish
try
to
and bring them back now, or
and he tilts his head. I don't have the skills. Effie might be able to, but she doesn't have the knowledge. And he taps his middle of his chest. They are here, though, and he taps his own center of his chest.
Effie, is there anything you want to do?
I'm not sure if this is a thing I can do.
Okay. I don't really want to go into initiative because that feels like a waste at the moment because there's really only like 2 of them that are getting up. One of the larger variety and the one of the Montre variety. So if you like, you guys can do an action or do your actions, and then I'll just have them go after.
Works for me.
Doctor, any ideas?
Do you want the logical kind or pure chaos kind?
Yes.
Either one at this point.
That was a bad decision on your part. He immediately starts jabbing the knife into the suit.
Harlen is not perturbed at all and starts taking shots.
Not into
That's a
you,
big
but
one.
into the suit.
I know, I'm shooting it. I assumed, I'm joining in the chaos.
Are you shooting the one he stabbed?
I think
I'll
he-
shoot the big one.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
shooting
about to
the
say, I
big
think
one.
he's
Okay.
stabbing the one on the ground, right? Or is he stabbing?
He's stabbing
With
the one
the
that you guys found of the...
Okay, he's
you
trying
guys
to
pick
go
the
ahead and look
slender
at
or
the soul
the-
thing.
Did you guys pick the slender or the Montre like?
I think I said I put both of them on the ground, so it's up to him.
Oh, okay. Well,
1d2 that stuff.
yeah. So one's gonna be for the Montre, 2 is gonna be for the slender. Is the Montre like? Okay. So we'll come back to what that happens later.
Yeah, no Roman wakes up and jokes. Give that a moment. So yeah, well, it looks like we're gonna have to put the big guy down real quick.
I was going to ask, are you going to use your cool new
Yes, I
pistol
would.
or?
He has a hope
No.
that if he does use the new sword, maybe it will actually help the situation. But chaos. It's already
I'm gonna
started.
use my standard one because I've made it. Got the signature weapons. I've got to use that.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Look at that.
Should have known. Okay, so 18 minus 10.
That's a hurting.
Yeah.
His magic freaking pistol. You don't need your mumbo jumbo. He's got his
so-
own.
Yeah, I forget this cult is supernatural in its precision and deadliness. Yeah, so you
But not
so
at the
Harlen
same time. That's
essentially-
the best part. It
Yeah.
only does one, but it does one of them very well.
So Harlen takes one of his signature skill shots, not really knowing what the anatomy of these things are, but he's going to assume it's going to be similar enough to him. And he just takes a shot to where he thinks the heart is, which I feel like we get this like quick point aim in, and as he pulls the trigger, it goes into slow motion as we see the bullet start slowly flying through, eventually colliding into the chest of the brute, and pretty much tearing a hole right through out the other side, just shooting all these mechanical parts and everything out as it kind of just drops to his knees and then collapses over. Now it's all left is a Montre-sized one. And I guess you're going to hit it with a sword?
Yeah, he's going to try to hit it with a sword to maybe change the situation a little bit, maybe make it better.
Okay.
He's like, well, soul sword, he needs more soul power maybe to make him stop. Maybe there's a lot of maybes. He
Is
doesn't
that
want
how
to
they
kill him.
work?
He doesn't want to kill them, so he's like, yeah, I'm just grasping at straws here.
Is that how soul swords work? You hit them and they get soul power.
I don't know. It's soul powers in the soul sword. I don't know.
Okay, so...
He wasn't a priest, okay? He was just a guard.
Go ahead and make a fighting roll, see if you hit him.
Let's fight now. I'm going to Benny that.
I'll say, do you want to Benny that?
Come on, what was that? Slightly better.
Yeah, I'll say that'll definitely hit a slow-moving target. I need you to pick a number. You can do 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12.
6.
6? Okay. So you'll take D4 damage.
Alright.
I guess I need to roll that, don't I?
Yeah,
Oh, you did it? Okay. So nothing happens to you. You're fine. You can feel your soul getting sucked into it, but you're fine. Then roll your strength plus D6.
Strength plus D6. How do you do?
Well, your strength is 8, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you can go ahead and just roll the strength. You roll twice, so it'd be 3. Then do D6 X 6.
Okay, so slash roll D6
X6.
X6.
That'll do it to where it can explode. Well.
Oh, come on. I was hoping for more potions.
Okay, so you did a total of 12, which is going to be enough to take this guy down. So essentially you take the sword and you're kind of getting the memory of it, a little bit of how it works. So you try to, not wanting to kill this thing, but essentially injure it. But in the process, you gave it a little bit too much juice and ended up finishing it off.
It was too damaged by it.
Yeah. The sword seems to cleanly cleave through the thing, like it's almost melting the metal into it.
Great job, Montre.
Ah,
Just
I
a couple
was
more.
I wasn't trying to kill it. I remember how the sword works.
Well, you did a good job of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And slides the sword back onto his back. Like, I don't want to do that to a person. That's for sure.
That's all that would be attacking you. Short work as usual. So we cut back to the doctor who had plunged the knife into this chest of this bot. The dagger starts glowing that same green energy as everything else. As you can see, the glow of the dagger start moving from the dagger into the body itself. The body, what degradation it had, starts going to more pristine, like Montre, essentially.
I think as we're turning around, Montre's literally trying to grab the professor by the back of the collar to pull
jeez.
him back. Like, nope, not being in arm reach of the guy now. You gave him a dagger. Get back.
After like a couple seconds, the glow goes away, and slowly the joints of all the fingers, the arms, neck, everything start to kind of slowly wiggle and writhe throughout as it kind of starts activating itself.
Did we bring the guy that speaks Latin?
No, he stayed outside. I think he mentioned doing this and then still stayed outside.
I speak Latin.
After a few seconds of it writhing around, it kind of just stops at laying down pose before it starts sitting up, and it kind of just looks around.
Tree waves. Like, you know.
So at first,
Does he try a greeting?
so
What'd you
he
say?
I said maybe you should try a greeting.
I'll see if he does something first, and then I will.
Yeah, so he'll look around and turn to you all, tilts his head to his side and goes, and only Effie's really able to understand this. I must say, this is not familiar place. Where am I?
Where are we again? Does the jungle area have a name?
Peru.
You're in Peru.
I mean, I was like meaning like the jungle.
Not really. Not it. Yes, but it has no
You don't
significance to him.
You were in a temple in Peru. You okay?
Peru. Never heard of such a place.
Very far from where you lived, probably.
How far away from Rome?
How far away from is it?
Across the ocean.
Just tell them all roads lead to Rome. I don't know what it means.
Get like thousands of miles.
Thousands of miles. You're actually across an ocean from Rome.
I see.
What's your name?
Julius.
Oh, come
Your
on
last
now.
name.
I am not in a wall. Am I? And he kind of just starts looking at his hands.
What did he say?
He's not in a wall. I'm not in a wall, am I?
No.
Well, interesting. Why do not the others speak?
They don't understand Latin. They speak other languages.
What, Egyptian? Greek?
I don't know if they can speak those languages, but like to speak English. That one likes to speak German.
He's not gonna know what either of those are. Tell him the language of Saxony.
Huh. Well, traditionally, if there was someone that is needing to talk to me, they would put their blood on a dagger that they would stab into a pedestal that would bring it to me, and I would learn said language. But we're not at that pedestal.
Oh, what languages do you know?
Latin, Egyptian, Greek, Saxon.
This
I
motherfucker claiming to know Saxon.
Is Saxon English?
It's Proto-English.
Yeah.
It's Old Germanic.
If you speak Saxon, they might be able to kind of understand you.
I just want to imagine a Roman guy encountering Kane's character, just like, yes, I speak the language of the people who ambush you in the forest. I fly in a giant metal bird made of guns.
It is designed to make war from the sky. Not that that's what we use it for, but
I use it to make war all the time.
So let me. The dagger's still here. Interesting. Let me just. He kind of just pulls it out of his chest, which in most other senses that'd be more gruesome than what it actually is at the moment.
Just slots out.
Would one of you care to spill some blood? See if we can do a trick.
Is he speaking Saxon now?
No. Well, yes, but I don't know if it'd be.
I feel like as being so distant, I still don't think it'd really be able to understand each other.
He says he used to be able to learn languages if someone put some blood on the knife and then plugged it and stabbed it into a pedestal. I'm just gonna say that in English.
She says this as he's waving the knife in front of you guys.
Harlen will give a kind of nervous look, but then extend his hand.
Excellent.
I don't really know what's going to happen if you do that.
That only a bit of blood, correct?
Or your soul?
Then let's
This is
try.
where he gets up to date and gets all of your memories.
Harlen keeps his hand out.
Yeah, you just change your character sheet over to another Montre. Whoops. Roman's now in your body.
He'll kind of gently grab your wrist, so that way he doesn't just cut you a little bit too much. Essentially, just giving you a little bit of a cut on the palm of the hand and letting the blood drip into the blade. At which point he's like, "Well, let's see what happens now," and just kind of jabs himself with it.
Montre's like flinching, like, oh.
So for a moment, his body just lays back down as like the green energy go back into the blade, and then after a moment, it goes back into the body itself. It goes through the whole like reboot sequence of joints moving, writhing, and suddenly stopping.
That looks very confusing and uncomfortable. Please don't do that to me.
After a few moments, he sits back up, starts speaking. Like it gets to be English because I don't remember what other languages does Harlen speak?
It's French.
French? Okay. So he'll start kind of going, it's like, well, I can speak what I think is English. No, not English, but you say, well, I could speak this language, which he speaks in English first, or I could speak in this language, which he speaks in French.
The first is better for us. Thank you.
I understood the first, yes.
Excellent. Now, what has happened to Rome?
Ooh,
It's still there. Rome, the city, is still there. You could just not say city.
Last I knew of it, there was I wouldn't call it a crisis, but they described it as such, where this thing called Christianity was coming about.
Has anyone asked this guy his last name yet?
I did.
He avoided it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear you asking. He would have said Caesar.
Yeah, of course. I'm not sure that timeline lines up exactly, but sure. A crisis called Christianity.
He did mention that he's been sentient in the pedestal
I see.
or the wall. He might have
They
been.
did kill Jesus for being too popular, so I guess they would consider that a crisis, yes.
Yeah, it was a crisis.
Ooh, you definitely shouldn't tell him that Rome is now the central stronghold of Christianity and has been used to missionary and proselytize it throughout the world. Until at this time period, I would say it's probably like a third of the world.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty significant amount of people. Yes, very geopolitical.
But Kain and I aren't there, so we can't add our thoughts to this
Well, the spread of Christianity is no longer a crisis.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
So that
What
could
a
mean either two
incredibly
things.
specific-
The crisis is over.
So that could mean either one of two things. Either it was snuffed out when they asked what my opinion on the situation was, or that it was succeeded into converting everything, or as much as possible. I suppose this is a question that we could do at another place. This place seems to be very dark and dreary, much
Yes,
unlike.
perhaps it would be better to get you up to date, let you see it for yourself a bit.
Yeah, the professor has many books that can assist you in getting you up to date if you're able to maintain yourself in his current form. It's nice to not be alone.
Not be.
Finally-
Are you
He
also?
finally lets go of the professor because he feels he's safe now. Maybe he won't get stabbed by this guy.
So once you let go of the professor, he just like clambers over to Soon, just asking a million questions in a mixture of French, then English, then French, then English, Latin, etc., etc.
Professor's going through it so fast.
I please stop, please. Perhaps he kind of is trying to stiff arm him away, but he was like, perhaps he needs to calm down before we can have a proper conversation.
I'm just trying not to laugh too hard. This is the first time he actually is amused by the professor's antics. He's like, yes, you're doing better than I did. When he woke me up, I tried to choke him to death. He's very excited to meet you.
Oh, that's quite violent.
I was a guardian, and he was not supposed to be here.
So you're doing your job. Perfect. Can I get assistance up? I don't remember how to use legs.
Montre hold out his hand. You're also heavier than a normal person now, so please be careful.
Oh, interesting. Again, I was previously stuck in a wall multiple times before this. Having arms and legs is quite enjoyable.
It is. It's a little disconcerting when you realize you don't have to sleep, but it is nice to be mobile.
All right, you have acquired a robot Julius Caesar has joined your party.
Oh, thank God. Yes. Thank you for putting it that way.
All right, so
I got to get him back home.
yeah. So about let's say at this point it's about maybe 20 minutes after entering, 20 or 30 minutes after the group, Sean Dublin sees the group exit out with a extra member of essentially a Montre lookalike.
Oh, before we leave the tomb completely, I'll make sure to close that door to hopefully stop people from finding the rest of them, just in case they're not all dead. I don't know what he wants to do with that, but he's like feels really bad. He had to kill him.
That's fair. You can come back later, I suppose.
It probably never happened, but he still feels bad.
Yeah, that's so you can close that door, and then I'm going to guess once you guys exit, you close that door.
Yeah.
Someone's going to track us to this place, and hopefully they won't get very far.
Yeah. All right.
I think as they exit Montre, I'll be like, "Did the Jaguars get you, sir?"
Very Irishly, I say, not today. Not today. Who's your friend?
He says his name is Julius. Apparently, he was in a wall before.
He's in a wall.
He was. Apparently, they used him as like some sort of
Fear,
book or something. Like, it's weird. They were not nice to him. They're gonna be nicer, right? I hope.
I was used as a.
Oh, that's right. He can speak.
Yes, I can speak English. Yes, Is that what it's called? Is this what this is?
Yeah, I walk up to him and I go, "So you're not familiar with English?" As I shake his hand, I say, "The language of the people who oppress my people, because I am Irish. My name is Sean Dublin. What's your name, sir, Mr. Julius?"
Julius Caesar.
Is that first consul Julius Caesar?
The Emperor, yes.
The one who was stabbed in the back by all of his friends?
I was stabbed everywhere, actually.
Wow.
Not just in the
Wow,
back.
straightforward. All right.
It's there.
Stabbed profusely.
I shake his hand, and I wink at him, and I say, "You conquered a lot of places, Julius, but you never got my people. You never got my people."
I don't know who your people are.
The Iberians.
Ah, I see. I was
That's
probably
true.
going
That's
to
what
work.
Rome called Ireland, is Iberia.
Yeah, no.
I
They
was-
didn't conquer it.
I was probably going to work on them next, but then I got stabbed.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There definitely are. Listen, I don't know if they told you, but it's been almost 2,000 years since then.
We were going to go slowly, bit by bit.
Bit by bit. I feel like that's the real headline, is that it's been 2,000 years. That's the one you need to kick off with.
So
This
I
guy
take it
is-
that the Roman Empire is no longer here.
Well, there technically are a bunch of different former Roman empires. There's at least 3 that I can think of.
Everyone
No,
tries
great
to copy
news.
you.
Rome is the center of Christianity. I don't know if they filled you in on that yet.
Ah, so it
He
was
said
that they
knows
took over.
Christianity was a problem.
That's true. Christianity isn't a problem there.
Ah,
No, he
yes.
said it was a problem when he was there.
Yes,
oh, well,
when
it's
the last
so important to Rome that Rome actually gave up a whole section of its founding city to the head of Christianity, the Papal States.
Yes, when I was last awoken, they did ask for my opinion on a potential crisis of the Christianity, and then I guess they
Who was
won.
they?
I guess at this point, be former leaders of Rome. I was made a consult of sorts.
Wow, that's really dark. Did you ever meet with Emperor Nero? He's my favorite.
Favorite.
Possibly.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Why did you do? Hey, why did you do that, Montre? You literally never chime in about anything. Why would you dunk on Nero?
Oh, Montre wouldn't do it. He doesn't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
That was me. The
All right.
character for your character having that as favorite is amusing to me because I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It's fucking spot on.
Sean and I have the same taste.
100%.
All right. Well, Jules, can I call you Jules? What do you prefer to be called, actually, before I just slap a nickname on you?
I before I died, I would prefer to be called the Emperor, but of course then I got died.
Right. Well,
And
there were
then
two Roman empires. There was the Western Roman Empire, which they didn't really call it the Western Roman Empire. They just called it the Roman Empire. Then there was the Eastern Roman Empire, which they called the Byzantine Empire, which really just means the Greek Roman Empire. Both of those fell. And then the Pope, that's the leader of the big brand of Christianity. He decided that some German guy should be the emperor. So he made Germany the Teutonic Forest north of the barbarian, literally the origin of the word barbarian. They made that the Holy Roman Empire. There have been a couple attempts to revive the Roman Empire. Actually, one of them's happening right now. There's this guy named Mussolini who wants to make a third Roman Empire out of Italy. I don't think he's going to make it, though. He seems like a pretty weak leader. Although, interestingly, his title is actually the leader. Hey,
that's just in, but
Caesar.
yes,
Your name is so important in history. I don't know if anybody told you this, but the word Caesar literally means leader in like 14 different languages, and multiple heads of state are currently called the Caesar.
yes.
July
Nice work,
is
guy.
still named after him as well, is it not?
Well, I mean, the Kaiser is Caesar. The Tsar of Russia is Caesar.
Oh, I think July is also named after him, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess, but, you know, that was one of the additions that fucked up how many months there were and their name. Like, September is no longer the 7th. Look, I'm Irish. I don't like it when people fuck things up.
About.
I like
strong
the
feelings
calendar
about
that
this
made
calendar
sense.
change that existed long before you were born.
I mean, the person playing this character also feels extremely strongly about this. It's really dumb. It's a bad change. You may notice on my shows I get confused as to what month it is because I still think of the months in their Latin numerical order, and then I'm like, oh right, September isn't the 7th month. That's crazy. What kind of asshole would do that?
Somebody that forgot what it meant.
It seems like you're taking this personally.
Yes, I do. I do take it personally.
Okay. Well,
It's part of his charm.
whatever you call me, I guess, is up to you. I was really only referred to as the consult whenever they wanted to wake me up to ask me questions.
I think it would be a good idea if we kept your full name between just our group for your safety.
Well, the full name of Julius Caesar is more than just Julius Caesar.
My safety. I feel like I'm fairly safe in this. I feel like I could crush anything.
Yes, but I don't want any. I
leak.
don't know if people would.
I immediately just shoot him. I straight up just shoot him. I'm like, there have been a few upgrades to weaponry since your time.
It's, like, oh, you
I mean,
ain't see
listen,
me?
he's made of metal, right? I'm shooting him at an angle of less than 45 degrees, so the bullet will immediately deflect and traverse off. But yeah, I just shoot him so he sees how much it hurts and how powerful the weapon is, and I just go, yeah, it was pretty loud. Sorry about that to do it so suddenly.
So
We can do that
Why don't
dozens
you-
of times a minute, just to be clear.
are you
and
shooting
that's
him with
each
the
of
M1
us.
Grand?
Why?
Why not?
I don't think this is
You shoot
working
him
out how
wrong.
you think it would work out.
That's a
He's made of
lot
metal. Are you
bronze.
telling
You're using a
so-
30-06.
Yeah,
He's
but
not indestructible.
I know he's that. That's what I'm trying to prove to him.
Bronze and glass with goop inside.
He claimed to be indestructible.
He said he could
He
crush
said
me,
he's
baby.
doing it. Let's roll it up and see what happens.
All
Yes.
right, I'll tell you what. Rather than the 30-06, I'd just pull out some sort of service pistol.
Okay.
I'm sure I have one on my sheet. Hold on, let me double check.
Just roll a 2d6 then.
This guy, 2d6,
You could do
This is gonna be
2d6x
straight
6.
2 6s. No, it's 9. It's a lot. Again, I am shooting him at an angle where the bullet will deflect.
Once again,
It's a little
Julius
bit more
Caesar is
believable
killed.
with a pistol than it is a rifle. A rifle would have, at point blank range, probably gone into him and damaged him.
Listen, this is a pulp fiction, pulp action, all right? It's pretty close to the cowboy genre. I feel like if I want to trick shoot, but all right. I
You
shoot
don't have
him
the
and it
shooting to
hurts
trick
real
shoot.
bad. And I go, yeah, weaponry has upgraded since your time, bud.
Yes, he is taken aback because I was like, oh. As well, he gets shaken at the point, but then kind of just, well, shakes it off.
Yeah, we'll fix you up later. I'm just trying to prove a point.
We have a
The
guide for
damage is
that.
only superficial. And it's interesting. Kind of I must need to know what's happened in the past 2,000 years.
Yeah, again, it's going to take you 2,000 years to figure out about 2,000 years worth of knowledge. We also fly through the air, and there are some people that say that one day soon we may go to space.
I
It's
find it
probably
better
like-
to work backwards.
Yeah, it's like
It's-
200 or 300 years away before we go to space, surely. I mean, we only got into the air about 20 years ago.
Now, do you still have those people that think the Earth is flat?
Yes.
Pity.
Tree leans over.
I put a hand on his shoulder and I say, in your time, people thought that the Pacific Ocean was as far as the world went. So
Well,
I got
everybody
news
drowned
for you.
before they can get any
there are
farther.
several other oceans that we've discovered since then.
Well, up until the point that at least I woke up, everybody who tried to never came back. So
Belief and functionality in that case was the same, I suppose.
We're still trying to figure out how to get north of Canada, but we've more or less explored everywhere.
interesting. What is Canada?
It's like Ireland, but less free.
New nation.
It's probably another continent from
Hey man,
Europe.
Canada loves the boot. They love that boot. I apologize to all Canadians. In the 1930s, though, you guys were real happy to be part of the Dominion. That's the Dominion of Canada, not the Dominion from Star Trek.
It's all over the place with that one.
The Dominion of Canada is what it was called back then. It was a state of the British Empire. It was called the Dominion of Canada, and they loved the United Kingdom a lot more than Ireland.
I'm pretty sure everyone, even India, loves England more than Ireland does.
I mean, India beat Ireland to the punch on revolution by about a half century. So I'd say that India kind of has Ireland beat.
I don't know. They seem to still like them. It's still Ireland still fought them for like almost another 100 years.
It's so funny though when the Queen died and reporters were like stopping people and asking how they felt, and you would just see people going, "Fuck off, man! I'm Irish," and I'm like, got him, another Irish guy in London. I mean, like, I feel bad that she's dead, but also you shouldn't be bothering Irish people about the Queen. Anyway, look, here's the deal. We need to get out of here. There are people who would like to capture your body that we have led astray in our flying machine. And we need to get back so that when the flying machine lands, we can leave with as little problems as possible. Do we have clothes for Jules here? Does anyone have any fits that are his size?
Montre, do you have extra clothes?
No, I have these.
He got put in the slimmer body, right?
No, the regular.
Montre. Yeah,
Okay.
put in the same size as me.
Montre.
Yeah. Is Montre like notably larger in stature than the average person?
Yes. This guy will be actually smaller than me though, because I did take a feat that made me even bigger than normal.
Yeah. So
He's actually a tiny bit smaller.
If Carl's a pretty average sized guy, and he basically lives in his plane, so there's lots of extra clothes that are pretty average person sized.
Sean's tall, isn't he?
I don't know that he's particularly tall,
I don't know.
but
if you give me a
Sean
minute.
definitely has extra clothes.
No.
Does he look
With
about the
us?
same size?
I would say how tall is Sean?
Oh, I'd probably say like maybe 6 foot.
Okay, so
I do think you
he-
told me once.
he would have been similar height to what Montre started as, because I think Montre was like 6'2", 6'3".
All right, I'm gonna give this guy my jacket, and I'm gonna give him my scarf, so that at the very least he can cover up somewhat. And I guess I'll check to see if I have because a kilt's not gonna cut it, because we need to cover his whole legs, and I need to cover my legs because it's the jungle.
Well,
I thought you were wearing the shorts, like the
Oh, you're
Explorer
right.
shorts.
You're right. Never mind.
Safari shorts.
I give him my full regular outfit. He's now wearing the Sean Dublin fits, and I
Okay.
am wearing the African safari fit. That's correct. I also give him my African safari hat, and I just pull out like a page boy cap.
Of course.
I can't help but to feel a little ridiculous at the moment.
What?
We'll get you clothes that is more your style when we get to.
They don't make
Civilization.
clothes his style anymore. They used to make his clothes out of asbestos. Oh, right. Actually, we don't know that asbestos is bad yet. They used to make his clothes out of asbestos, which we don't do anymore, and we really should, since you can just throw it in the fire to clean it. Wow. Romans were so smart.
Montre chuckles. He's like, well, my people wore as much as they could make. They didn't wear much. I like my outfit now. It's very comfortable.
Your people
guess.
also lived in a extremely equatorial region.
Yes, it didn't really match some of the technology we found. The priests were really weird, and I don't think they were all actually legit. Anyway, let's get this guy taken care of because I don't want him to leak. And leaking
Yeah, but
is bad.
what's our end goal here with Jules? Are we just bringing him back to Williams so that he can advise SITREP?
That
I
seems
believe that
that
was the
we've
original plan.
obtained what we
Alright.
wanted.
Yeah, but
Unless we want to continue screwing over with the other doctor.
Yeah, anything you leave here is stuff he's gonna discover.
I think we should take Julius back with us so that he can learn about the new world, but he's got his own mind. He should be able
Yeah.
to do what he wants to do after that.
I was going to ask him, do you want to continue your consulting gig?
I honestly do not care. The main difference would be from doing it now is that I'm not stuck to a wall.
How about we take you home with us, and then we'll give you time to decide what you want to do.
Very well. I am at your all's mercy. I don't think, from what I understand, it would not be good for me to walk around like this, as I can imagine I'd be soon discovered as to what I am. Maybe not as a
You'll-
person, but
We'll disguise you like our friend Montre.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how more people don't see through Montre immediately.
I have found that if you act like everything's normal, sometimes they don't pay attention to you. But it also helps that I am covered in my body weight almost of cloth.
or is it
Yeah,
that
Montre
your
does-
attempt at acting normal throw them off, so they try to avoid you, which is another fairer pursuit.
Learning things in reverse does make people think you're a simpleton, so they do leave you alone. It worked with Sean for a time.
I just let that pass.
I had to do it. I had to do it. That's it.
Well, again, I'm kind of in your hands at the moment.
Would you prefer to go by Julius or Caesar? I don't know if we should put both of them together. Or you could come up with a new name.
Do you know how hard that would be to wire myself to act a new name?
So do you prefer Julius or Caesar?
Have you
Just
considered
call me,
Jules?
maybe not that. Just call me Julius.
Immediately no.
Hearing it a second time has convinced me that I don't like being called that.
If anybody asks, you can say that your last name is Dawson, and you can say you're my.
Sure. I guess I got the looks in the family then. That was a joke.
looks
I don't
like
have
my-
my face anymore. I see dry humor is not as good anymore.
You were accounted to be one of the most attractive bachelors in all of Rome, historically
Yes,
speaking.
I was going to make a point where you said that people wanted my body. That was not a thing I was unfamiliar with when I was still alive.
At least we're still unique, mostly.
I suppose someone should lead the way.
Yeah, we gotta tromp back through the jungle. Montre unsling his gun and take point in case we run across more angry pigs.
Do you want to lead the way back to the base? So that way you hopefully don't get lost again.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, unless somebody's smarter than me, that's where we're going. Because I don't trust the professor really.
But here's the thing: the professor doesn't have a wild die, which is a vast improvement of having the wild die is a vast improvement just by having just a skill by itself. So
Backup die.
I don't know who has survival as a skill other than professor.
I think that's the problem from the first time. Yeah, I don't have it.
Well, let me ask this. We know the path we came in here on. Isn't
Indeed.
this just a memory problem to go back?
If you would like it, you could do a common knowledge.
I'll take that.
It would be better than unskilled, yes.
My dice are wild as hell, just like me, Sean Dublin.
Yeah, there it is. That's how you do it.
That's
Okay.
2 5s.
Yeah, 5. You get it back in a lot less time. I would say you get back in about 45 minutes.
Wow. All right. So, look, Effie, we haven't talked about it. We've got. I think that our German friend was going to take them up for most of the day. We've got plenty of time if you want to do anything in the encampment of your vile nemesis, or we could just leave him alone for now. Like, I don't know how you want to play this. We could always just shoot him when he gets off the plane. I don't think you want that, though, but...
There's not much I can do right now to gather more.
I think that's what he's
Adam.
suggesting, going to their camp and gathering.
Yeah, I
something
mean,
evidence.
he knows about us. He probably told his people about us. It would be a little strange for us to show up, but probably not that unusual. I mean, also, all his people are out working, so I don't know who's going to be in the encampment to, like, stop us from showing up and looking through his stuff.
Could try it.
Great. Take Harlen and Montre.
I think
I'll stay here and fill Julius in on everything that's happened since he tried to conquer Iberia and failed.
I'm just happy to hear someone's trying to take revenge on someone, not just straight kill them. It was a
Yeah.
very common thing to keep hearing. I was like, so the last Caesar died.
Do you prefer to have this conversation in this language or in Latin? Because I actually learned to speak Latin while I was banging a nun.
Banging a nun.
Oh,
I'm-
right. You
That's
guys
also a
didn't
Christian
have
thing.
It's a Christian thing.
Right.
Wow.
It honestly does not matter. So would they, when I cut the hand of Harlan and took his blood and put it in a knife, the blood sends the,
Right. I'm just asking you what
Information.
you're comfortable speaking in.
I pretty much any language. Not any language, but either Latin or that. Obviously, it'd be weird to speak Latin in front of the others when they can't speak it.
He also
I
speaks
mean-
French now.
Oh, yeah.
Oui.
Oh, yeah. Oh, interesting. I might also speak French. No, I don't. I speak German, Russian, Japanese, and Latin. Japanese, you wouldn't know about Japanese. It's beyond that Eastern Ocean that you guys always dreamed about.
I never could get past this one place with elephants. That elephants just stopped us a lot of the times.
Yeah. When he says that, I'm going to take him over to the dingo and go, hey, this is what we use for elephants now.
It's very small.
Yeah, but it's fast. Here, get in, bitch. We're going driving. And I
Hey,
leave the rest of the
seems
party
They're
behind.
going to be good friends.
Yeah,
Listen, I definitely want to make him my good friend. I don't know if we will be.
Monty's like, I wonder if we've done a terrible evil to the world. Anyway, let's go do a terrible evil to a jerk.
Realistically, who's going to believe him that he's Julius Caesar? The most interesting part about him is that he has an artificial body in a suit.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't
What
know
about
who's
the
going to
other
look at someone who says, I am Julius Caesar, the Roman emperor of 2,000 plus years ago. Like, yes, I wholeheartedly believe you. That's totally you.
What happens when I pull this knife out?
No, he took the knife
Listen.
out. That's out.
Are
Okay,
you
that's
telling me
fair.
that we should be rolling? Should we be rolling like believe him checks or something like that?
You can do what you want to do. You can believe him. You cannot believe him.
You know what? Yeah.
I'm just surprised that Harlan remembered the context. That was probably someone that was Roman.
What do I need to roll to believe him? Smarts?
Sure.
Notice?
That's smarts. Just roll your straight smarts.
Straight smarts? How do I just roll straight smarts?
You just click on the
Up at
trait.
the top. All right. Yeah, I killed it. I killed it again.
Yeah, with the
Pondo.
12,
I got
you
plus
wholeheartedly-
5 on
yeah.
it.
I mean, you believe him. That's got to be him. All the signs are there.
See, the way you're saying it makes me think that that's not true. But I have a dice roll that basically was also a critical saying yes. So despite your tone of voice, I will lean into this.
What would you do if you failed? And I just told you, yeah, no, you totally believe him.
I would believe him.
Okay. Yes, it is him. The context clues the situation. You do recall hearing that the knife was used to stab him. I mean, he could have explained this to you as well, that essentially Brutus did him a justice because he knew about the assassination attempt on him.
Wow.
Aww.
I tell him about one of William Shakespeare's most famous plays, which is about Brutus brutally murdering him and then getting denounced by Mark Antony. That might be a rapper.
No Mark Antony.
I think that's also a rapper, but yes, I believe that's how the play and history goes. Because, Brutus is an honorable man. And then I start filling him on all of my favorite Shakespeare plays. Midsummer's Night,
Yes.
Hamlet. Oh, sorry. I wouldn't call it Hamlet. I would call it the Scottish play.
So, yes, essentially Brutus stabbed him, it sucked his soul into the knife, and he was essentially forced to be a consultant and would have to wait there in the knife until someone... It's just that no time passes, there's no sense of time passing while he's in the knife.
Sure.
So he would just pop up every so years or something whenever they come in. And the last thing he knows was the Christianity crisis, and B, bodies were starting to pop more and more. they were having a hard time keeping up with it.
So as we're driving away, I'm going to say, so anyway, there's all this information that says that the Chinese invented noodles, but actually there's recent evidence discovered that pasta was eaten in the Roman Empire. So I just need you to confirm. Have you ever heard the word pasta?
Man, I'm trying to think if that's a poor man's food or would be delicate
Absolutely
cuisine.
it is.
Delicacy.
Yeah.
What? No, it's a poor man's food.
I mean, for the time.
It's literally just wheat noodle.
Yeah.
It's the same as eating
He'll answer
bread.
you with this way. Personally, I have not heard of it, but it could be possible that we had it. It was just in the more common folk.
A question that won't be answered for another century. Oh well.
There you go. I answered your question with another vague answer that could mean either yes and or no.
Fantastic.
Go
I
get the
drive
Caesar
away
salad.
so the rest of the team can go on their second heist of the day. Okay, Caesar salads were not invented by Julius Caesar. They
No.
were invented by a guy named Caesar.
I knew that. I was never going to claim. So I had this cool idea for a bowl of vegetables. I was going to call it the Julius.
No, just don't.
I'm not going to try. There was going to be a
Julius
joke, but I ruined
Veggie
it.
Jubilee.
I couldn't think of it. Okay. So the secondary heist crew of Effie and Harlen, I'm going to assume no one else is joining them.
I mean, I don't think there's anybody else to join us. I'm going, yeah.
Are you going to just walk in nonchalantly like you belong in the place, or are you going to try to sneak through, see if you can get to the main tent?
I mean, Montre can try sneaking. It's okay-ish at it. He's snuck in a weirder place before and then
No, you
walked in
have. I'm
very
not denying you.
nonchalantly.
Listen, anything is possible. We know it. We've seen it. If you roll the dice high enough.
He just looks to the others, just like, Lady Effie, this is your call. How do you want to?
What do you think we should do? I'm not really used to these kind of.
Shakes his head. He's like, I typically, the last time we did this, I was purposely distracting them, so I didn't try to hide at all. I don't think that'll work here.
think
I
we
can
should
try
hide.
and sneak in while you talk at the front, if you would like.
Sure.
I can assist. I know Babel. I assume Dr. Lowe stayed with the rest of the group. Well,
Yeah, I think Montre actually, oh yes, Professor, you're here.
yes, I know. It's hard to see. I usually stay below.
Yeah, you were very quiet. It's not normal. Not used to you being so quiet, sir. Sorry.
Well, the only thing I really wanted to talk to now went with the man who also talks a lot. So
Mm.
he also wouldn't talk to me until I calmed down. Now I'm calmed down. It's probably because he's gone.
Possibly.
He's kind of just like slumps a little bit in sadness.
He'll pat him on the shoulders like, you're an educated man, sir. You will please assist Effie in speaking, and I will just simply be the porter. I believe that's the word they use here. He'll like shift his backpack full that's over full of everybody's stuff.
All right. So Harlan, give me a stealth roll for you to sneak through.
All right.
You're going to want to Benny that.
I think I actually let you get.
Do you get a free reroll?
No, that's.
I think
no,
that was
that's
only the
athletics.
athletics. Yeah.
I'll Benny that.
There you go.
There.
That's a little better.
Yep. With 7, you're able to sneak in through just fine. Currently, other people are preoccupied with the show going on with, or the conversations going on with Effie and the doctor, and Montre just standing there essentially. So you do make it into a tent. There's not much to say about it. It's mostly he has a decent bed, better than what you expect for his excursion like this. Something that you actually have to build, not just a cot, so to speak. A chest, table, desk. He does have a radio, or essentially a Morse code deal for more of the long distance stuff. And essentially a few folders on the table with some documents inside. I don't know if you want to take a good look at them or just want to grab them, then leave.
I'm just going to yoink it and leave. We're leaving anyways.
Okay,
I don't care about being noticed.
fair enough. All right, so you grab whatever the papers were on the desk and then just meander on out.
Any journal if I can find it.
I'll make you roll for that one. Give me I'll say notice. Not necessarily research. You're not looking for information. That's double ones
No.
right there. I can't do much about that. Okay.
Well.
What to happen? What to happen? So, as you're kind of fumbling around looking for a journal, you accidentally you tip over a book, which tips over another one, which tips over something else, which tips. Essentially, it's just a domino effect of stuff tipping over and loud crashing noises sound from the tent. After that, you start hearing people is like, what's going on over here? And start meandering over to you.
Grab it and book it.
Okay. Let's do another stealth at -2
Fair enough.
to see if you get spotted in a recognizable manner.
I'm betting it.
I would say. Oh, there you go. I was going to say at worst can happen, you roll double ones, which I had called in a double ones immediately after that. But no, you're fine. Yeah, so you're able to you essentially grab like the sheets of the blanket real quick to cover you up a little bit more so you can obscure yourself and just start booking it.
He's the ghost of the jungle.
You do hear one of them go, a ghost. And yeah.
Why don't you just watch it all have his height advantage over everyone's like, did better than I probably would have, but my goodness.
All right, yeah. So that
We get away with this sometimes.
how do you get away? Dumb luck. It's nothing worse than Carl continuously avoiding heavy damage due to the luck of someone else's card.
That's true. Even when I calls it to him myself.
Yeah. Does everybody else just want to leave the scene and just go your own way? Meet up at Harlen later.
Yes, I think that's what sounds like happening. I haven't found a good character to use the love interest card on yet.
I mean, you can
Julius
keep that as
Caesar
long as you
gets
want,
shot.
but I don't know who's going to show up.
You played on Julius Caesar.
One of the bodies inside that was actually not active.
Listen,
actually.
the Romans
Like,
and the
okay.
Greeks were both freaky, so they could go either way. All right. So
Oh no. What happened?
eventually Carl makes it back with the plane, which he is successfully able to distract and deter long enough for them to give him the information that he was looking for, but also not the information he was looking for. Essentially give enough time for that way they don't start the excursion when they were doing it.
Yeah, make sure it's late enough at least that they likely won't be setting out until the next morning at the earliest.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
The two thugs that were with him exit the plane first and then help Ignacio get out afterwards. That was a little bumpy ride, but it was mostly pleasurable.
The air is well, I won't bore you with the details, but flying low tends to be a little less stable.
I will take your word for it. Mr. Dublin, you do have a great pilot, and he was very helpful in my endeavor.
I'm going to walk forward. I'm going to tightly grip his hand and shake it for a uncomfortably long amount of time while putting a extremely idiotic smile on my face. And then right when it looks like he's about to say or do something bad, I'm going to let his hand go and say, yes, thank you so much, Dr. Ignacio Cueva. Wow. I can't wait to go back home and say that you were part of this expedition. Your contribution to our group will never be forgotten. I can strongly say that is true. Now, it looks like we probably aren't leaving until tomorrow. Did you find what you were looking for, Doctor?
Yes, we do. We discovered a couple of spots that would be worth our investigation.
Fantastic. Did you want to talk about it over dinner? I was going to host a little something.
Oh, in fact, I'm very intrigued by that. I'm now remembering that he was actually spooked that he had a murdery vibe to him.
We had a whole flight. Nobody made an attempt on his life.
Yeah. So, I guess there's that.
I made real polite conversation the whole time.
Yeah, okay.
So we could be friendly.
Well, at first I was a little bit concerned that you were going to try to pull a fast one and hurt me in a way, but I see that this is not your
Dr.
style.
Cueva, I don't know what could have given you that impression. I'm a award-winning international journalist, and you're a figure of public record. It's clear that you've been spending too much time alone down here if you're suspecting someone like me. I mean, some people say that kind of thing is the sign of a guilty mind. Like my good friend, Dr. Sigmund Freud.
The archaeological world is
You can't keep
very.
getting away with this.
I can't keep getting away with it. He didn't die until 1939, so it's eminently conceivable that I've met him before.
Oh my god.
So good.
The world of archaeology is a very cutthroat world.
Really? I thought it was all just dusting some things off and taking it back to a museum. I would love to speak more about that at the dinner tonight.
Of course.
Doctor, please. You've got nothing to worry about. I mean, you haven't done anything wrong, right?
No, of course not.
I'm going to slap him on the shoulder really hard and then throw my head back and laugh.
He kind of gets stumbles forward a little bit after the slap of the back and does does like a little chuckle with you, like, yes, of course.
I'm so sorry. I forget that I'm extremely strong sometimes.
Of course. If you don't mind me, I have to get back to my camp.
Of course. Yeah, just show up here sometime near twilight.
Doctor, I hope this isn't improper. I know that I'm not. Well, anyways, I have a very close friend who is currently studying archaeology, and I was wondering if maybe they could send a letter to apply to work under you for a bit, to learn from you. They're also a huge fan of yours and looking to get into the field.
Sure. What is their... Sorry, I need to switch to Spanish. Yes, what is their name?
They're currently a student. They're very shy. But if the opportunity is, if it's worth it, then I'll let them know that it might be worth sending a letter with my name so that it's not from
A stranger?
so
Yes,
strange.
of course. Just make sure to send it to the... I don't know, he sends you like
Gives
the
me an
address to like
mail
his
to.
main office deal, and probably in England.
Okay. Yeah, I write it down. It's been a real pleasure to meet you. My friend talks so much about you. I might not understand archaeology very well, but I have an appreciation for your work. I'm
Of
sure my
course.
friend will be very excited. And it was a pleasure to have you on the plane. Maybe we'll see each other again before my boss tells me it's time to leave. I'm not entirely sure what his schedule is. But best of luck with your expedition.
And again, pleasure. With that, he just goes ahead and gets in his car and leaves with his two guys.
Well, I invited him to a dinner in order to do a little Dickensian, Ebenezer Scrooge. I'm pretty sure that came out before this time period. So,
Well, since we've made it so that I am your chartered pilot, probably wouldn't be proper for me to go. But I can stay with the plane to make sure it's ready. When are you? You're back. Does that mean the trip was a success?
have you met Julius
So-
Caesar?
So, Carl, as you say that, you start hearing some clanging coming from the plane.
A turn, heading straight to the plane.
No. Don't break things.
This is a quite marvelous. You essentially see another Montre, though a little bit smaller and dressed as Sean Dublin.
It's Sean Dublin's version of me.
Is Montre also? Is Montre with him?
Montre was, I think, hanging around you guys separately.
Yeah, I forgot that he was around. Out of character, so I didn't where is he? I was like, this guy's talking to us. Julius Caesar's running around somewhere. I didn't even think of that. As soon as he's like, you mean it, and I'm like, where did we put him?
Sir, if you could not touch the aircraft, I'd be more than willing to introduce myself. I am the operator of that plane.
Oh, so this is the flying machine I've heard so much about. That he starts like throwing like wrenches and stuff that you have around. He's like, these are quite. It seems like it's just a bunch of jumbled mess in here.
Those are all quite necessary, and they were very well organized. If you could please stop, I'd be willing to answer some questions. I'm sorry. My name is Carl. I don't believe we've been introduced.
Julius.
So you haven't seen an aircraft before?
No, I cannot say so.
And I'll start picking up my tools to put them back in my toolbox. It's a rather sophisticated piece of equipment. If you're not aware of how it works, there's a chance you might cause a loss of life by touching things.
Of course. Should have known. Apologies. It was just a quite marvelous thing. Very big. Bigger than an elephant.
There are larger ones in development.
Interesting.
This one is pretty big, but there are larger ones.
Fascinating. I don't suppose you need this part. And she holds up some random part of the thing that was obviously been ripped out on accident or on purpose, depending on what you want to ask.
Yes, I need to put that back. There's a particular way to do it so that it doesn't get damaged.
Oh, apologies.
Montre finally comes over. He's like, Mr. Caesar, perhaps we can assist him.
I'm sorry. Julius Caesar.
Yes, Sean was excited when he heard the name. I don't get the reference.
Carl is looking back and forth like he's waiting for a punchline.
I put my hand on Carl's shoulder and go, as far as I can tell, it's real.
Oh.
This is the real Julius Caesar. Brutus stabbed him with the time knife and trapped him in time. What? We all know about the time knife.
Yeah, we've all seen the time knife. We know we need to go on about it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad someone got the reference. I've been waiting to do that for a whole episode.
Time knife is not what I would describe it. It was more of a knife that sapped my soul that they used to put me into a construct in a wall to ask me some questions and then pull my soul back into the knife.
Well, okay. Not the strangest thing that I've learned about in the last year.
Sorry.
It's up there, though. It's up there. How about, instead of touching the aircraft, why don't I introduce you to it and explain how it works?
Is it a sentient
Some of these
being?
things are. It's not it doesn't live, but I am I don't know what equivalence would be.
Well, you said introduced like it is a sentient being, like a horse or an animal.
It
have found, Mr. Caesar, that people of this era tend to give human-like traits to their prized possessions. It gives them a sense of
I see, like a boat,
camaraderie, like a prized horse from our time. He chuckles. No, there wasn't very big horses when I was around. We're not very strong.
She is my most stable companion in life.
He's like, and for some reason, everyone uses female pronouns. I don't know the word pronouns, but the feminine tone for these type of things. It's very fun.
Most stable companion. Do you mean a mental sense or a physical sense?
It's part of my. This plane is part of my livelihood. I'm the only one that works on it. I have a very personal connection to it. It's very important to me in my life.
I see.
Did you want help working on it?
I don't. If things get particularly bad, I could certainly use some help. But right now, I don't need any. I do need to put a few things back on, though. But Mr. Julius, if you'd like to, while I work, you can certainly ask me questions. I'm sure this is a fantastical piece of wonder to you.
It is, truth be told, I wasn't able to see what any sort of technological advances I had during while I was in the wall. But yes, this is definitely something new.
While I'm working, I can explain to you how we have managed to create things that fly.
He's staring at you patiently.
Also, please don't touch that. He's going to explain. He's going to explain wings and lift. He's going to explain how
I should not have molested your prized possession.
I understand if you're working from. Well, let's just say that after meeting Montre, I understand.
Montre nods. He's like, I was not a classically trained person, according to the professor. I was simply a guard, so I am very ignorant.
Of course.
But you're an educated man, so I'm sure this will go a lot easier with you than it did with Montre.
He's not even ashamed. He's like, nod, hopefully.
But yeah,
he certainly is calm about the whole thing.
Yeah. So yeah, while I put my stuff away and put things back on the plane, I'll explain lift and combustion engines.
Lift? You mean like? I think he just like looks around for a second and lifts like a heavy box or something. Like lift or a different kind of lift?
No, it's how this is pulled up into the air. See this?
Like a hand of a god?
This wide section here, we call these the wings. And
yes,
they're shaped
like on a bird.
Yes, but they don't flap like a bird. What we do instead is the geometry, the shape of the wing creates an effect that with enough speed picks it up.
What are the prong torture devices on the side do? He points at the
Those-
engines, essentially.
Those are what we use in order to move forward at a sufficient speed for the air to pick it up.
Interesting. Fascinating.
I can give you a quick demonstration. Here,
Yeah.
stand right here, and I have him stand like 50 feet behind the wing.
Okay, we're just gonna just
Yeah, where's this zoop? That all happens.
Yeah.
I turn on the engine, I explain physics to
Uh,
him, and I fix my plane.
So we'll save the dinner date for next week or whenever we next see each other.
Perfect time for someone to fall in love at dinner date. Dun, dun, dun.
I hope there's no romance in this thing.
Get kidnapped here often? What's that? That's what it says in the card. So-
The hilarious lawn play would be Montre
Whoops.
seducing the doctor somehow.
Ruin your life the lowest way possible. Me.
Is there anybody that want to keep or is there anybody that wants to give away their cards to get new ones?
I really feel like I should get rid of love interest, but it's just so funny. I don't want to lose that card.
I want to get rid of one of mine.
Hidden stash.
Okay.
I like my cards.
Which
some
one do you want to
reason.
get rid of, AP?
I can't open my card hand for some reason.
That's maybe I need to.
I can open mine.
Is it because I'm looking at it?
Brains
Maybe.
talking? I don't know.
Try now.
I want to get rid of Unexpected Insight. I don't think we're ever gonna need that.
That's odd. The unexpected insight.
Yeah.
Affect creature with any of her attacks, regardless of vulnerabilities. Yeah. Yeah. That one's a niche one, so we'll just play that, and then I'll give you guys new cards. Adventure deck.
And I have maybe secured a way for Effie to get in and completely annihilate this guy.
That is definitely an interesting.
I mean,
Interesting.
he didn't seem
path that
he
you
didn't
opened.
seem to recognize her at all.
No.
So maybe there's a way for her to just work with him for a little bit, learn the ins and outs where all his stuff is, and then burn it all down.
That is
be
an
cool.
option.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if she had said her name fully, then yes, she would probably be suspected.
I'm sorry, that cotton's too smart for your cheap tricks.
No, I wasn't trying any cheap tricks yet.
Hmm.
They're not cheap
Yeah.
until he shows us to it.
I don't know if Have I done any cheap tricks so far? I feel like I've been relatively straightforward.
that we've noticed.
That's fair. I don't even know what my tricks are.
I don't know. I do it by accident more than I do it on purpose.
Hmm. Okay.
Are you looking at your cards? Is that what you're humming about?
No, I'm trying to recall if you've done any cheap tricks in this campaign.
I don't know what other. I think I've done many in A Time of Total Warfare. Quite a few. I don't remember any at the top of my head though. I don't even know what other campaign. I usually tend to be straightforward, to be honest.
Okay.
You
Well,
don't believe me? If you would enlighten me, I'd like to know something I've done as a cheap trick.
I don't
Here's
know, I've
what
played
I
enough
have.
with you.
As a question, are we good for next week?
I'm good, as far as I know.
So long as no child suddenly decides to come out, we should be fine.
That should be good.
All right.